Hello my friends, and welcome to episode 2 of Book Girly on a Budget. In today's video we are going to be talking about the famous TBR cart. I don't know about you, but a lot of the booktubers that I watch have a TBR cart, and on it they normally put all the books that they want to be reading. And yeah, it's a very signature thing. TBR cart videos, like picking the books I'm going to read this month, are super popular. And so I was looking at it and I was like, how are we going to make it so that way we can make it a little bit more affordable, but we can still take part in the fun experience of picking our TBR for the month. So for Christmas I asked for a TBR cart. This is her. She's a nice little teal color. Very happy about it. Dylan built it for me, so that was very nice of him. So we have this lovely TBR cart, and I was looking at it, and I feel like if you line it up, you would probably need roughly 30 books to fill this guy. Roughly, give or take, you know, if you have skinny books or fat books. It probably depends. But I was like, that is a lot of books. Like 30 books, $30 a book, like it's gonna add up. It's like $900 or something like that. So I was like, how are we gonna do it so that this is a little bit more affordable? So I took some time and I played around with making paper books, so that way we can have book options, but then when it actually comes to getting the book, we could order it from the library or thrift it or see if a friend has it and borrow it from them. So this is me figuring out like how I was gonna do that. Hello, I'm Pasky Brainy, and I am going to figure out how we are going to make our paper books. I have a couple of ideas, so we're kind of just gonna start and see how it goes. Okay, so my first thought is to take some books that I roughly like the shape of. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some blank paper and just wrap it, so that way it is like tight around the book. It is a little bit tall, so I might adjust that. But the idea is that it's around the book, and either you could take books that you're not the biggest fan of, or you're not reading, or you like but you're keeping for one reason or another, but you're not necessarily going to need to read it anytime soon, and you can either tape the paper on like that and just be done like that. But what I'm going to do is I want to see if I can get it so that way the paper will hold this form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wrap the book and then stack them and leave them for, honestly, maybe like a couple of days. So I'm just going to put these over there, and we'll have to come back to these in a little bit. The next thing that I was kind of thinking was just folding like 2 creases. So instead of folding it in half, because like ideally a half would be like like a good size. But if we fold it in half, then we won't have the spine, and I really want to be able to like write the titles of our books on the spine. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and fold it twice, so that way we have like a spine section. So thinking roughly like this. Fold it here, and then on this side fold it here. So now we have our 2 creases, and wow, that actually turned out pretty good. She is decently stable, honestly. Guys, look at this. I'm pretty impressed with that. So what I did was I just literally took the paper and I folded it, and I made like the extra, like however much I wanted the spine to be. So I folded it there, leaving that much extra, and then I did the same to the other side. And I left that much extra. So, wow, I'm kind of impressed with myself, honestly, guys. Option number 3 is to use cardboard. and like make a little cardboard box. I don't have any cardboard, so I'm wondering if I just use paper and make like a paper box, if that would work. Okay, so I have my tape, I have my scissors, and I have a fresh sheet of paper. I'm using single-sided tape. If you have double-sided tape, that works too. And so essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to fold in the border of all of the areas of the entire perimeter of the paper. So there's this one side, fold in this side. You probably roughly want it to be like the same around all of the perimeter, but if it's not exactly perfect, it'll be okay. So, fold it in all of our borders. So we're left with the shape kind of like this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle, and you're going to want to fold it slightly off-centered on either side of the middle. So I'm going to use the similar method to what I did on our other book. I'm going to leave the amount that I want for our spine. I'm going to crease it down here. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So we're left with a similar shape to our first one. So now that we have that, we're going to go around the edges, and where it's kind of folded over each other, we're going to bring it up and make it so it points out like this. The paper shouldn't fight you too much. If it does, you're just literally, the goal is to make it so that way your two sides are actually standing up. So you're standing up, and then just whatever extra paper is right here, we're going to take it, we're going to crease it outwards, and then we're going to put it over to the side. And I'm going to take a little bit of tape and put it to the side. And there we go. We have our first edge right here. So we're going to do that to the next one. Bring them together. Crease it out to the side. Push it over, and then again tape. Do it again. It doesn't really matter if you go right or left with your creasing. This is our last one. So now we have this like kind of boat-ish shape. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold it in half, and the one side fold it in half, and the one side is going to meet the other. And I think ideally it would make more sense if it overlaps. So we're just going to overlap this so that way the one side eats the other. Then we're left like with this very jank. Actually, this side didn't do too bad. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut this middle section. We're going to cut right here and right here and push it inward. So just ever so slightly, it's like we're cutting the wall. So if this is the floor, this is the wall, we're just cutting the wall to meet the floor just along the line of the crease that's already there that we folded in earlier on both sides. So we're just going to push that in. Doesn't even matter. I'm just going to fold it down so it actually stays in. I mean, it should already be creased. So now we're left with something kind of like that. And we're just gonna close it. Again, one side sort of eating the other. And we're left with a kind of box shape. And so you can go around the edges and tape so that way we're left with an actual closed box. So I think I'm just going to start with the bottom. Just going to tape right here. And I'm just going to tape along the perimeter. And if you wanted, you could probably put like some type of reinforcement in here, like maybe a popsicle stick that you've broken, so that way it's not like easily crushed. But I'm just gonna leave mine as is. And again, it's not supposed to be perfect. It's gonna be messy. Like you can see my edges are not perfectly lined up. Like it's not perfect at all. But we have this shape that's kind of bookish, which is the goal. So, based off of all of those lovely ideas, I think I have decided that I'm gonna go with the classic, just folded paper twice. We have a sheet of paper, we fold it once, make the seam, fold it again, and make the seam, so that way we have this like nice book shape, and then it can sit right here up on our TBR. So I think I'm going to sit here and fold some paper, and then we are going to go from there. You are more than like welcome to make your books however you want to. If you want to use cardboard, if you want to cover old books, do whatever makes sense for you to put it on your TBR cart. It doesn't even have to be a cart. If you have like a spare bookshelf like this, like even just using like the top shelf, however it works for you. Our goal is to just use things that we already have that are free of charge, that we can utilize and be creative with, so that way we can have our own TBRs. Alrighty, so we have all of our paper folded into book-like shapes. So now we want to keep this really simple. We have a couple options here. You can either, before you fold them all, print out like the cover of a book on the piece of paper, on like half the sheet of piece of paper. So that way you have like the real feel of a book. And you can like see like the real cover and kind of have your memory jogged. That is going to probably take a lot of ink from your printer, but if you're okay with that, then great for you. I want to do something really simple. Knowing that I need to print things out is always like my weakness, especially when it comes to like my book journal and stuff. I'm like, oh, I need to print it out, and I just like kind of push it off until it becomes like this really daunting pile of things I need to print out, and so it gets really overwhelming. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little blank book and I'm gonna take a scroll through my TBR, and I'm literally just gonna write the title of the book on the front and on the spine, and then I'm gonna like literally just do it like that. Super simple. I'm gonna choose a color that kind of ties into the cover, but I'm just gonna keep it really simple. Title and maybe the author. I think I'm gonna include the author too. So that way when we do take books off of our TBR, it's really easy to add back more, or if I decide that I want to switch things out, it'll be really easy to change that out. So I'm gonna sit here and take a scroll through my TBR. I have one, like a virtual one on Goodreads, that I'm just gonna scroll through and pick out some books that I'm interested in reading. this is where we're at. They are not staying super well, so I think I'm gonna tape them so that way they are in place and not like falling over like they are. Much better. So now we have all these books except our bottom shelf is empty. So I actually have some books that I do have physical copies of that are on my TBR, so I think I'm going to put them on the shelf so that way we do have a couple of books that are real. I put all of the books down here. The right side is like general modern day fiction. The left side is some classics because I am trying to read one classic a month, so I thought it would be important to have some options on there. And then we have all of our paper books right here, and so I thought if our TBR cart is ready, then we should pick our June TBR. So I have this cute little cap full of TBR prompts. I'll leave the link that I used down below. It was just like 100 and 100 more bookish prompts. So I glanced through some of them, but I also don't really know like what we're getting into. So I'm going to mix these up and then we're gonna pick. I think I'm probably gonna pick 5 books because maybe 4 or 5 books. I don't know, we'll see. Because my goal is to read 4 books a month, but if we go over, we might go over. And June is just like such like a summery, let's read and chill in the sun type of month. So I could see us reading a lot of books in June. So let's pick some prompts. Alrighty, first up we have a book that follows a recent trend. I guess it'd probably be like a more modern day fiction type of book. So maybe something like Nora Goes Off Script, or maybe even Just for the Summer. Because I know that there's like a Reddit thread on Just for the Summer, which is very like trends that happen now. Maybe The Do-Over because it's like teenagers. I don't know. Just for the Summer is like such a summery book, and it does follow a Reddit trend, a Reddit thread, which I feel like is very like modern day culture-esque. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. I think we're gonna do Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is the 3rd book in a interconnected standalone series. I would recommend starting with the first one, which is called Part of Your World. But I think that this is gonna be our first book. Next we have a book with a reference to time in the title. Let's see, a title that has something to do with time. 7-Year Slip would be time related. I think that the 7-Year Slip is the only book that we have that has to do with time. The Love of My Afterlife is a close second, but it literally says 7 years in it, which is a very clear indicator of time. So I think we're gonna go with the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I've been dying to pick this book up, so I'm super excited about that. Next, a book written in 3rd person. I feel like a lot of these are I'm looking at my classics, because I know a lot of like classics are written in third person. Like I feel like Lord of the Flies would be written in third person. I've actually never read this book. So many people read it in high school and I just never did. Yeah, this definitely looks like it's in third person. So I think our classic for the month is going to be The Lord of the Flies. So that's super fun. We got our classic in, and it's in third person. Next, I realize I've been looking at them as I've been pulling them out, but I promise you I haven't been like reading them as I've been looking at them. Alrighty. A book that is only available as an ebook. So none of these books obviously are only available as an ebook. Books only available on Kindle, maybe? The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. I think I've seen that one's only available as an ebook. I think I'm gonna choose this one. It is a short story. It's called The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. Let me see if it's in the Kindle app. Okay, cool, we got it. I don't ever it's only 81 pages. It's just a short story, but I don't ever use the Kindle app. But this is our ebook, which might be nice because I feel like sometimes I want to read, but it's not like I don't have my book with me, and it's not like opportune. Like I can't listen to an audiobook. Sometimes it is really nice to have an ebook going. So there's our ebook. Up next we have a book with an animal companion. A book with an animal companion? Come on. Okay, I have been dying to read Remarkably Bright Creatures. I thrifted this book at a rummage sale, and oh my gosh, guys. The story of how I got this book is in the next video. But this book, I'm so excited to read, guys. It's not even funny. I've started the audiobook, and then I was like, I really want the physical copy of this book so I can read it. And I have it, so I'm going to read it, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You're following this old lady and an octopus, and they solve a mystery. That's all that I know, but it's gonna be so good. Oh my goodness. So because The Fall Risk is a short story, I think I'm gonna pick one more book. So we'll technically have 6, but 2 of them are really short. Like The Lord of the Flies is only 200 pages. I think we're gonna pick one more book. Let's go with this one. Okay. Roll a 6 die. Read a book with as many words in the title. So we have a 6-sided dice. I'm gonna roll it. All right, we got 4. So a book with 4 words. This one has 4 words. This one has 4 words. Stanza piece is 3. Goes off script. That's 4 words. Assistant to the villain is 4 words. One dark window. Back is 4 words. Ooh, that one looks good actually. Do Carrie Soto is back. We don't have. I mean, I guess Remarkably Bright Creatures is general fiction, but I feel like we don't really have any fantasy. Assistant to the Villain is fantasy. I don't know. I feel like this is summary, but I feel like we don't have any fantasy books, and I've heard that Assistant to the Villain is so good. My gut reaction was I want to read Carrie Soto is back, so I think that's what we're gonna go with. And yeah, so that's our 6 books for our TBR. So I got the TBR cart set up. These are our books. We have Remarkably Bright Creatures, Lord of the Flies, Carrie Soto is back, The 7-Year Slip, and Just for the Summer, and then Imagine the Risk, The Fall Risk, sitting right here. Thank you so much for just being here today and taking part in the little Book Girly on a Budget series that we have going. I hope that this gives you some excitement about the world of books and you being able to partake in it. I hope that, yeah, if this is something that you're interested in, that you tag me in any pictures. If you do end up making just like a paper book TBR cart. If you didn't see episode 1 of Book Girly on a Budget, we kind of just talked about like the Book Girly world and the realities of a budget, and we went to the library because the library is an incredible resource. So that was episode 1. If you missed it, I'll link it down below. I'm also gonna have a Book Girly on a Budget playlist on my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, you can go follow me on Instagram. I am at the Catholic Writer or Cabrini Sense, and I'm also on TikTok now. Also at the Catholic Writer or Cabrini Sense. However you want to find me. Make sure that you subscribe so that way you don't miss episode 3, which is coming out next Thursday. We will be talking about book thrifting, book shopping, but not like the bougie version, but like rummaging through and finding the sales and all of that stuff. So make sure that you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on so that way you don't miss that episode. And then episode 4, just a little sneak peek, we're going to be talking about little free libraries and what a joy those are. So that is everything for today. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, because you are helping grow our little community. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye guys.